All right, welcome to the Highway Hills Management Committee meeting as of October 26, 2021. We've got two invited guests tonight, so we'll jump right into that. Scott Kitzmiller. Scott, you want to come up or?
Microphone right up here for you, sir.
Or you can come up and sit down if you choose or stand. And...
Take the load off now. Take it right here.
Scott is a Marion Township trustee, which part of Hideaway resides in.
Mr. Kitzmiller, long time no see.
Said Chaz, I know it was you.
No,
I'm just kidding, Chaz.
Turn the microphones. Talking to it.
Yeah, how you been?
Good.
It's like you've been painting too. What's all that white in your beard there?
Yeah.
I ran a gym last night and was talking about roads and township and mentioned something we put on our blades is not metal, it's rubber. Product made by this company. I've got brochures I'll leave with you here. We've been using this since 2016. About 40 miles of road. If you're doing both sides, that's 80 miles. And sure. Thought it might be something you want to look into. These last a whole lot longer than your blades will. Kind of acts like a squeegee on the road. It's a lot more forgiving on the show. What I said today, it's like 6-1. Trips out on a snow event. This will last like 6 times longer. Not sure where you get your metal. Used to get ours off Koppenberger and Columbus. Stay with metal blade. Place down here is Hocking Valley Laser. Business down here, the same job. Something to look in. These things are these rubber blades are adjustable. As you wear them down, you can flip them up. A lot lighter to handle. But they're very heavy. Several times. I just took a few notes here, but the thing that I like most about this is hypothetically, let's say you get a snow in the springtime, let's say late February, the way the winter's booked. Ground's not frozen. Across the ground, not frozen. Here's a 5-inch snowfall. Here comes your blade. Takes the snow off and parts of your soft road. About this, it's forgiving. A lot less damage to the road. I learned from this guy here that you got to keep it under 25 miles an hour your speed on it. The heat will. It's not good for them.
I think we can do that later. The 19-hour.
Yeah.
Let's see the speed limit signs.
Yeah.
It's about they come in any length you want. They're about 1.5 inches wide. There's 3 different heights they have. See, Western plows down there. I'm sure he named off a whole bunch of plows that they adjust to. So might be a product that help you guys out.
Thank you. What's the cost difference between steel?
Oh, it's a little bit more. Wearing longer, it lasts a lot longer. Plus, it's more forgiving if you figure that cost in there on your roads and repair. So we like it.
Seal, huh?
I left. I just take this off the computer. This guy's name's Craig. I'll leave this information with. Have this and phone number's right here. It's an 800 number. Ohio. It's Ohio. Products. Send them. So welcome to these.
Great. Great, thank you. I appreciate the information. That'll
Thank you very much. These,
Yeah, okay.
Where bar.
we,
Rubber.
You can use your metal blade as a backing to this, then press it down as it wears. It wears out, flip it up. And I can roll out. Been using them since 16.
great.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming.
Right, so,
Yep.
Good, Chaz.
thank you. We can get some.
Good to see you, buddy.
I think it rings a bell now. Some of the notes, but
All right. All right, thank you. All right, Jeff Lieberman, highway member.
Systems, camera systems in them. Talk about putting lights up at putting cameras up on the docks. Well, I've had some people look at that, and unless we put up some floodlights, it won't be able to work at night. You're not going to get cameras at a low because the lights that are up there are down lights. Therefore, don't reflect out. If we put up floodlights, looks to me like some of the neighbors would not be happy about it, having that floodlight coming in their properties. We could get starlight cameras, but it wouldn't be worth the cost. But if we want to go daylight, and I want to talk about a broader picture here of updating our camera system. We use two former FBI agents, basically surveillance on their whole career, TVs and stuff. So what I'm proposing is that a new system be put in there in conjunction with some other systems. Now, I've made a little, I know it's hard to see, but if you take let's say the guard shack is the epicenter of the system. Put a DVR in there and a thing on the roof called a receiver. And you've seen these receivers around. If you travel around, you see these big towers that have those big things on them, like drums. Well, those are microwave receivers. These are mini microwave receivers. Put it on the top of the the guard shack. Now you can run cameras wirelessly, okay, using microwaves. Cover all these areas I've got down here at the moment. You can do all the whole place, but it will take what's called repeaters to do it. Okay. But just to get things started. Now, what are the advantages of some of this stuff is? Place the cameras here because they're antiquated and they're running on Spectrum. We can replace these and get all this done for less money and no residual cost. In other words, no monthly fees to Spectrum. It's on its own. And it would be the first step in us being able to make some of the people at the guard shack, because this system would allow anybody comes in there, and let's say they call up to your house and your wife's there, and Joe Smith's down at the gate. She doesn't know Joe Smith. She just has to get on her phone, tap the thing. She can see the picture at the gate of who Joe Smith is. That's the first step. And eventually I assume we're getting ready to put an easy pass system, which means you can get in without stopping, right? Well, the other side of that is getting people out and in. So if you have a guest that wants to come in, this would be the first step in being able to electronically let them in without having a guard say yes or no, because you would be able to see and talk to that person through your phone, that camera. Okay. Secondly, it would also maintain better security, because now we would know who's coming in. We'd have a picture of them, their license plate, and everything, and reverse cameras on the other side showing when they go out. Okay. Now, anybody in this room wants to assess this kind of a system is in, pick up their phone and look at any of these cameras. For example, you could, in your office, you could have a monitor on the wall, sees all of them, just off your internet. My office, we have properties all over the country. We have monitors, wall monitors. We can monitor all our properties, the offices, the grounds, all that stuff. So what I'm proposing is that the fact of it is that there's no residual cost. So we're not paying every month. I've been told that the physical place, the phys ed, they want to put in an ADT system. Let me explain something to you about ADT. See this card here? This is an IZON card. And what ADT does is they bought this technology. And when they make up their box, their alarm box that they put in your house or your office or your building, they have this technology in it. And this technology runs off the internet. And what it does is, and you can buy this thing off Amazon. It can completely control your house through the internet. So you can have a camera, everything AD promises you that they can do with their system comes from this technology in this card. And if you have an alarm system at home, you can buy this for $100 and stick it in there, and it'll tell you everything you want to know about your house if you're sitting in Maui. Okay? So, what I'm saying is that to get into an ADT system, which costs money every month, there's another way around it. The same exact thing as ADT will without the cost. And it's even cheaper than ADT will charge you. Now, so what I'm getting at here is I want to cut residual costs because I'm in the property management business. And I know the residual costs could kill you. You're paying every month for some. And believe me, if they're signing a 5-year contract, they're making a fortune. I'd rather see us save the money and have a better system and it's more accessible to the members even. But if you put up 4 cameras at that guard shack, you're going to have a knowing who. And who's Mr. Jeffers? You're working on a system for the people to get in and out, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, and you're working on an easy pass.
No.
RFID.
You know, I was up at this place last weekend called Bull Lake up just north of Coshocton. They've got a system where, you know, they come in and they dial their number and it opens the gate. But they don't have any, they got just a bunch of old cameras sitting there. So they don't know who's coming and going. They really don't, because nobody's taking a photograph of it. So they don't know if something, if there's a burglary or something, came and who went.
System network.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the cameras, and those kind of cameras that can tell you. In my apartment projects, they're all built so that you have to come in one way and go out the same way. I can tell you every car, every license plate that came in and when they went out. Okay, and I got a picture of it. So when the police come, there's a picture of the guy. Right there, it is his car, his license plate, everything. And for security purposes, at some of our projects now, we've even changed to where people can call the gate. Say somebody's at the gate for you, see who it is. Let's say you're off in Maui. Nice idea. Okay, well, where would you rather be? Okay. This system, these systems, somebody at the gate for you. And it'll show you, and you can tap it and say, oh, gee, I don't. The other thing is for you, Jeff, is that you can now monitor closer what those guys are doing in that gatehouse. you'll be able to sit at home and say, well, I wonder what those guys are doing. Bam. No residual cost. Well, first you have to decide what you want. But I personally was and still am willing to donate DVR system, which is the most expensive part of it. We could hook up to 15 cameras on that. Cameras run around $300. The ones for the shed, the guard shack, they don't need transmitters. They go directly to the DVR. So depending on how many cameras you want to put out, away from there, and cost. They're about $500 with the transmitter and the camera.
I think the other issue is that we've got 5 other gates
Well,
that
eventually,
do not have line of sight.
right. Well, that's where
Okay.
repeaters come in. At that point in time, once you got this system running, then you can go back and start, because the topography was counts there.
Right.
So you have to put up a repeater. My guys told me that we were standing at the docks at closer to the guard shack. He said he could get cameras that would work line of sight all the way to the end of that lake.
Yeah, but it doesn't help us up over here at the Bremen Gate.
No,
Or in
we have
China
to set up
Forest
a
or anything.
repeater,
But
set up a repeater system.
yeah, there's down the road.
Yeah, I know.
And then down the road, I think that was at the Pegan Gate. That's what that's called.
Yeah, we don't have any.
Yeah, but I don't think we have any easements to allow us to. Not saying
Well,
it can't
this
be done.
is wireless, but you need power.
No, but you also need line of sight.
Not necessarily. That's what repeaters are for.
Well, but you need to mount the repeater somewhere, and if you don't, and I'm just saying that
Yeah.
it adds a level of complexity in there.
They can go on a tree too. We've got repeaters all over them.
That's a great idea.
Some of our projects are too far away. Site, they're down the hill or something, so we have a repeater to back to the guard shack.
So
All microwave. Yeah, but you can set a repeater here, repeater here. In other words, you may have 3 repeaters to get that signal back to the guard shack. Now, that's kind of the first way end of the deal. This is something that's realistic today. You don't need an alarm system, fancy alarm system with ADT at the phys ed place if you've got a camera and the guard shack's sitting there watching it. And if you put a bell on the alarm system, if it goes off, or you put in this, it'll call somebody and tell them, hey, alarm's ringing over there. Now, if the guys in the guard shack can't hear the alarm ringing, got a problem. It's not that far away. I have to wake one of them up once in a while.
So what do we, again, how do we to look at this? We need a full
Okay.
that protects the membership, and I'm sure. I appreciate your offer of information, but
Well,
I mean,
we'll have to get a couple of, I'll write up what we should get.
okay,
Then we can back into what we actually take. Okay. I'll get a couple of companies out here, bid them up, because you're gonna have to do competitive bidding.
sure, yes. That's what I was getting at.
Yes.
We didn't know.
Getting an AV system. That's never been, we've never discussed. it.
Well, the guys that run the, committee that runs the PE over there, they were
the fitness center.
soliciting me for more money, said that they needed it to put in this fancy ADT system. I said, now, wait a minute. You don't need an ADT system for a place across the street.
I wouldn't know where they were looking at it, T system or anything.
I mean, that's what
That
they
was
told,
like-
that's what they told me. And if you look through some of their stuff they put out there, the alarm system, this, that, and the other.
I know they were looking at some kind of fob system to get in.
Again, if you got a fob system, you need a fob to get in there and then something else to get in the gate. Why the same system for the gate can't be used there? Mr. Jeffers? Well, if you have an easy pass system, and you want a system over to the PE place that will identify members, let them in.
The easy pass system doesn't.
No. But it tells, it can be made known. Sure.
That technical. Use them in park.
Can.
Yeah, you need basically the hotel type.
Yeah, I
keys for
understand the
proximity
hotel.
keys to do it.
Well,
Pass is.
right, I'm familiar with this. Well.
Yeah.
Saying there's nothing you can tap in and say, okay, 1, 2, 3, and the door opens. No, with over there at the PE's place. Honestly,
We don't.
It's not our radar. I mean,
I know nothing. We'd like to hear what that.
oh yeah, I would too.
Yes.
Well, I'll just tell you what they said to me. Just passing that on. 'Cause I was concerned with another residual cost.
And I think it kind of goes along with what we talked about a couple of weeks ago when we looked on the lake. is
Yeah,
that
right.
We need to have a consolidated plan to cover all of the security needs that encompasses everything.
Right.
So that we don't cobble together a bunch of crap.
Now, the reason I couldn't get cameras up is nobody, you need a DVR and.
Yeah. No, I
couldn't
understand.
get the guys to go along with DVR in the middle.
Right. And we thought that we were going to have limited success anyhow.
Yeah.
With
Well,
those
because
lights.
you know that lighting is the
Right.
way it lights.
Yep.
Now, there is one other thing is, up in that corner of the dam where it appears, from what I'm being told, is a place where youth seem to congregate. Same picture there, that one area.
Yeah,
That's where that little road comes up.
Yeah.
Does that stop?
At the spillway,
Yeah.
the emergency spillway. That's more well lit.
This is off the dam,
No, he's talking about the far end.
Oh,
the
that's
trail,
coming.
the trail that goes through there. Yeah.
Is that still a problem, Jeff?
But yeah, I'm sure once we get back to summertime,
Well, summertime, you might want to consider putting up a camera with a light. Stop that. I think, you and I talked about putting all floodlights up at the dam, probably disrupt the people who
Right.
are up. This is there to have that bright light.
So with the lights that we have there now positioned, so they're shining down, what kind of range would we get with a normal camera? Kind of distance, what kind of view would we get?
It's too dark. Those lights are down.
What's it, 20 feet, 2 feet?
I think maybe 10 feet. 50. Camera's gonna have to go on top of that. So therefore, the light having that.
Go below the light? Okay. See, my concern is that's the only place we need to see. We don't need to see all 30 boats out on the dock.
No, I understand.
Because they're not going to come in off the lake. I doubt they're going to come in walking off that dock. That's where we need.
But
cameras.
this is where we need to plan out what we want,
Right.
right? Which is what Jeff was saying too, is that we need to come up with a plan, and that's all part of it. I mean, sitting here in this meeting, we're not going to solve
Well, no,
anything.
specifically your question, the lights now, shine down and around pattern, so to speak, okay? If you put a camera below that light, it will block the camera. The light will be too bright for the camera. Not gonna get very far out, because the light doesn't shine that direction, it doesn't shine out. It shines down and around. You're not gonna get much. Want to get a good camera that costs maybe $5,000-$6,000, it's got starlight in it. I think that much damage is being done, that worth it?
And we don't want to put more, we're very specific when we put those lights there, not put floodlights and make it into an arena. It's meant to be.
Here's another idea, is to put lights down the dock.
Talked about doing it, but keep in mind, they unhook those docks
I
every
know.
year and out, so you got.
In the winter, and I were talking, that wouldn't have the lights on anyway. Nothing to steal in the winter.
No, you just have to know how to you'd have to disconnect
Yeah,
them.
you just have to disconnect.
Okay, that's some
Yeah,
good
that's
ideas.
Yeah.
You could bring back some.
Okay, be a couple weeks, but I'll get it.
Okay. We can
Thanks,
look
Jeff.
at
Thank you.
incorporate into our plan. All right, Jeff, you want to take us through our numbers?
Yep, capital fund total, we have increased to with $405,216 in that account now. Appreciation fund total came up just a little bit at $376,750.
Fund transfers, we went over it last meeting, but that was, this is slightly updated.
No,
No,
it's the
same
same as it
numbers.
was. I just wanted to get
Okay.
back on our regular. Not going on.
Yeah.
So it's in front of you. 6,000. This year, a lot of that is the amenities fund, which is a couple of months. She's pretty confident we can get very close to caught up.
Good. Questions on that?
It's Tom.
We talked about last week. All right, dive right into our discussion items. RFID, gate update. We don't have a lot of update right now. We're still reaching out to signature controls. Get an RFID, RFP. Words. They would still like to bid on it, and we're still following up with SoCo,
Correct.
but we don't have a.
And I haven't gotten a quote from him yet, but he's at least been in touch and let me know. So backward. Short staffed. He's
It's normal. Insurance statement of values update.
And that is really what I had sent to y'all. What the insurance agent recommended is let him go through, start working us toward an actual reconstruction cost. Not do it all at once because we sticker shock, but spread it out, do a kind of a step up program. 5 years, 7 or 8 years. Well, that's different deductibles to see what we'll budget.
So he's just gonna up that based on square footage.
Correct. And get up to cost would be
Closer to market.
and I think I sent all of you an email in November. So
That day, but JJ here ran. All right, Marquee Signage.
So Kelly is needing to at least in the wintertime, she would prefer year round to bow out of that. She won't be able to do it. Penny and I had talked about it. I think I sent it out to y'all. This was coming up. need to take a hard look at this and bat around some ideas. And talking to Kelly, you know, we need to, I think one thing we really need to determine is in the winter time, is it worth changing those signs out with limited activities and the fact that, and I didn't know this until a few days ago, she actually has to be out to get those signs.
We know somebody with a blowtorch.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That'll help the sign.
Yeah, no.
So I'm wondering if, you know, short term, do we really need to even update it in the winter, or just refer people to the Hideaway Hills Club sanctioned Facebook page or to the website? And then we've got 3 name in the hats, or 2 of them husbands have thrown their name in the hats.
Voluntold.
No,
Voluntold.
Cheryl, Linda, and then Jeannie Green also expressed some interest. So if all 3 of them were to say at least a minimum of 2 people season. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than going.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're signing anytime. If we can do it with volunteers, I agree. There's limited stuff in the winter. I mean, got holiday home, really chilly spring report.
maybe we just turn it over to them.
I'm good with that. It's about to, I mean, just handle it with volunteers here on out. Just limit it.
You know, and then you get requests from committee. The checklist of stuff that comes up every year as far as the date.
I mean,
A lot of it can be done just on a checklist.
yeah, a lot of it we do. We send out e-blast. It's in the echoes. Put it on Facebook. I mean, so don't cut those marquees anymore.
I think just changing the marquees, like you said, in the winter to showing what those websites are, people that are coming in, because I know you guys get questions there, and I see posts from time to time, people asking, how do we get to it?
Yeah.
Maybe in the winter months, having that posted, if they could, then they could stop, take a picture of it or jot it down, but like force things there.
And
I mean, the marquees are great. 1960, that was their option to communicate down here. I mean, there was
Changing
no
gas
Facebook or,
prices.
you know, anything like that. And I don't want to see something like that go away.
Had with the 2 marquees.
Well, and then technically the
Sure. All right. Fall cleanup.
fall cleanup is done since Rumkey took over the old Kilbarger waste removal operation. We are facing some new challenges. Big nationwide company, quite as flexible. And hey, can we get Randy out here tomorrow with 2 new bins? They have 1 day, so we're gonna need to start again. Yeah, Mondays. Period. Do we operate it Monday to Monday instead? Does that make more sense? Rick's thinking is this has been catching everything that was thrown around the dumpsters into the dumpsters. That it's maybe smarter just to get.
I mean, it was a mess down there.
Yeah.
And then somebody put up tape around them, and the dumpsters were like full. Doors were open, just falling out, just throwing their junk everywhere. So it was just a real mess. And
Something I noticed down there. I didn't investigate it much, but I mean, it seemed like a car that was there where the trailer was stopped in his car because the sticker. I didn't stop and try to address it, but I mean, our members allow kids and family and friends to. It's a pretty stop. I mean, that's what we got. This is a members service that we provide members, not and friends. So I don't know how we police that though. Other
Cameras for the
than
camera system.
yeah, other than members, security rolling through, trying to see if people are coming in here to try to do stuff or watching them come in. Stop it.
Piling's always taken some years it's really, really bad. I know years ago there was like mountains twice as tall as what the dumpsters were after a weekend, and it was
Well, but in the past, what we were able to do, even recently is this year's spring cleanup, you can get Kilbarger to come out, and we'd switch them out 3 times in a week. Inefficiencies and
Can't have Kilburger bring them in instead of
sold to Rumpke. Does
farmers.
farmers or farmers? Farmers. Okay. Hang up on me, or is she gonna give us a good seat?
Cancel Rumkey first.
Oh, he lives there? Never mind. All right. Capital fund budget. We're gonna project it just because so this is a budget we put together about a month ago, trying to put things in order, send it out all to committee. I don't know if you had any changes, thoughts before I'd like to share this with the golf committee, planning, lakes committee, before we make available to the board, just to start getting members, ideas. Priority is really too, especially for the golf committee, like what is the priority on getting some of this stuff done? So we've got a number of things on here, $2 million stuff. Let's write us a check out there.
Just the A list. We haven't even gotten to B and C.
Yeah. But I think we do need to start planning this out and start looking at 3 to 5, 10-year plan of what projects need to be done in our facility rolling. I don't think basketball court's going to happen this year or to the point of asphalt plants are going to shut down enough. So I don't see that happening. So that's probably a next year item. And then, I'd like the Lakes Committee to look at the dredging project and say, what is going to happen next year? Are we just going to do Silt Pond next year? The year after?
Kind of.
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean,
There's a lot of stuff
we
out there
wanted
we
to,
don't
we
know.
wanted to see kind of what the Board of Trustees
Yeah.
said, but could we definitely be doing a silt trap?
Yeah.
Get that done early enough. We could late too.
Yeah, go ahead and dredge with,
Yeah.
bring the water. And I think we just need to share this with not only the board first. Been saying December, but I don't see why we can't share it at the November meeting. And then, after the board's seen it, and then share it with membership and start getting comments and see projects or not that need to be start prioritizing stuff.
Wouldn't it make sense to maybe run it long-range planning committee first?
Yeah, I was going to send this after tonight. We'll send this out to long range ball and lakes because they're the most affected. It's kind of sort of an oversight committee of stuff, but they may have ideas that we're not. All right, we'll go ahead and send that out. You want to send it to the golf committee?
Has it changed since you sent it to us? Okay.
Back and just pull it. Send them tomorrow for so.
Be very productive.
Jasmine?
No,
Guess you're on your own.
What was that?
I'm heading to Vegas tomorrow, so for a conference. So
I just thought maybe you'd be going along to.
he
kind of
thought you were
see-
tagging along because they would turn us too loose in Vegas. Yeah, it's a
It's
good
pretty bad, probably.
JJ, you got any food service committee updates?
Yeah, just a reminder, there's the Halloween party this Saturday. Their dinner's gonna go from 5 to 8. 8 to 11, there's a costume contest. So the winner will be announced at 9. We also put a little thing in so we can get people clubhouse odds back and forth. And if you go down to the clubhouse between 6 and 8 and buy a drink, we'll give you a token for half price drink at the The Board of Trustees approved the request to carry over the amenities money, meet and try to put together a plan for next year as to the spending. Currently working on a fall, winter hours for the clubhouse and the lodge. Finances to see what works best for the members and the employees. How it was done. See what's feasible financially. That's for the members.
Yeah, are we gonna be able to? We could probably offer hours to lodge if clubhouse employees need the hours.
Yeah.
We'll have an email blast out with them. Okay, Aaron Bradley.
We're also looking for something possibly for discussions on.
So sun's out killing me. What's wrong with this picture? What? Yeah. Lois have jobs and responsibilities. It's his second one. Lodge updates. Jeffrey.
Back to me, huh? Okay, so I sent out to the management committee yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, with supply chain issues email that we get from GFS now. So, the first couple pages weren't very interesting, but then you start getting down to go contain. This is beef. So, they did actually have an explanation in there that what's going on. It's not only ships hanging out off of Long Beach Harbor and that. Also, everybody is short in this country. They're short-staffed. Fishing boats are short-staffed, so they just can get the supplies. Where, and of course, the changing. You see football seasons close to unavailable. Going to be something that's got to tweak relative on costs based on what we.
Are we branching out from GFS at all?
Yeah, we've got U.S. Food is supposed to be out here this week or next week to talk to us, and then to go contain.
So I know, like, there's a bar in Sugar Grove that's good wing night, and they told us what their supplier was. They seem to be able to keep it, so we might have to reach out. I'll see if I can get it.
Yeah, if they've got something that gets local, you don't really want big food service.
No, it would be
Says
somebody
US
local.
Food
You
and
could just give
GFS
them
and
use it.
GFS. It's gonna be.
But if we could just at least get wings to offer wings.
Yeah. So right now, it's not been an issue. They actually came down a few cents, believe it or not.
They got smaller.
Or being warned. Yeah. Yeah.
the location he's talking about has not lost quality, size, or
Yeah,
anything for where
they told
whatever
us the name
supplier
of it,
is.
but somebody knows getting their supplies, but it
Something
might
they
be-
can double their order and help supply us too, or something.
Yeah.
And I talked to Aaron too about, I mean, if things really get tough, local sourcing of beef and pork and things would eliminate the supply chain. Locally grown food. The easiest solution, which we've used in the past, is Bays and Lancaster. Yeah, it requires somebody to make an order and send to them and delivered out here in the past. Right now,
No,
beef, pork,
Oh, okay.
I mean, for those mains, seafood now. But, you know, the beef and the pork line there, if he's gonna do something, it may be a little more labor intensive. We wanted to make sure once we got it in, vac sealing it so it can be stored longer and then frozen safely. You know, things like this. And again, we can work on volunteers. to do that. But, I mean, in order to,
Food Service Committee's looking at a chest freezer that Aaron busted, and that would be good for, what was like, for, hey, we know football's getting ready to start, let's order up on wings, price starts going. So, you know, we're gonna end up playing round robin, and if we can't get them from GFS, can I get them from here, can I get them from Sam's, can I get them from wherever?
Sometimes
And
we're just gonna
there'll be a lot of,
pass that
Right.
the cost along that it takes to pay to get some of
Oh,
these
yeah.
things, yeah.
and then, you know, and frankly, we went up on the price of wings pretty significantly because they more than doubled in price to us.
Like buying
And
lobster
they're,
at
and,
market
you know,
price.
it dented sales a little bit, but uh,
They'll build a freezer also.
oh, is it now?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And don't ask for
Yeah.
Gatorade because we're not getting Gatorade from anybody. Sam's doesn't have it, Kroger doesn't have it, GFS doesn't have it, US Foods doesn't.
Beer goes, if this happens to beer, well, it's gonna be a nationwide crisis.
6 o'clock news, they said there could be with other libations because the bottles and the labels for the bottles, you know, I had no
Take
problem.
flavor?
They can use a black marker on my bottle.
Yeah.
You know, as far as I'm concerned.
Jack.
Cut the sunshine.
Yeah. Jim Beam.
I mean, we're a long ways before we get out of this thing, and that's, you know, that's why I was
Yeah.
talking with Aaron, you know, him not knowing the area, and I said, sometime if you want to go into Bays, talk to him, see what it's at. I mean, not to be our main supplier, but if he wanted to specifically, you know, stay on the pork chop run or something, because their pricing being fresh cut stuff is,
Higher.
well, it's less than what we're paying now.
Mhm.
Sales on wine flights have fallen off. Jeannie's, she had quite a bit of last, so we'll probably look just in the busier season, to instead to go into like wine nights once a month. Something open up bottles of wine.
Food pairings, I had a lot of people come up. They talked about our prime rib night we used to have on Friday nights here, and it was a huge success. And asking, I don't know, you probably talk to some of the same people that I do, but you know, if we get something like that, that would surely help with this too.
Yeah.
In the interest, that's back where we would basically, you take reservations, you prepay for a spot, you make a reservation, you know what you're going to have in it, how much food you're going to need, so it, you know, cuts down, minimize on the waste side of it too. But we could have your wine pairing with that, big plus, and then that night he's got one entree, the sides that he's dealing with instead of the full. At least
Three
once or
different
twice a
with
month,
it,
it would
yeah.
give him a break.
At least once a month, something.
Yeah.
Just at least minimal, but it would be something once a month, every Wednesday, something. At least we think we are.
So for discussion.
Talked about looking at it anyway. Saturdays, so we've got one of our cooks, Aaron being the other one, out for surgery. which is going to most heavily impact us on Saturdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Should be able to have so. Plus the pizza guy. Fridays he's got somebody else in. But Saturdays it's going to be the Aaron show, so we're looking at buffet
Pizza.
or pizza only for foreseeable future. And that'll be starting with this
I
Saturday.
mean, either that or we could supplement. I'd be happy to work.
Yeah, I'm out till hunting season's over.
Yeah, Jim's absolutely no good.
So, I was a pretty good pizza guy there, but not actually doing it myself ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, and Aaron's.
Now you got to
Aaron's
really get clicking though. I mean, it need to be it's going to be every Saturday night or every Friday and
Yeah.
Saturday night.
It's hard to
Otherwise,
just show up and
yeah,
make.
he ends up out because
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know, like, I don't know where the sausage crumbles are, or
Yeah.
I can find some things, but I'm like, he's very good about help.
So anyway, what we're looking at doing is kind of committing to the top rounds that we used for Calcutta event here that was so popular. Getting those in for the Halloween buffet. That's on it, and a chicken flooring. Yeah, but getting the top rounds in for the Saturday night buffets, and because the short ribs really have not been selling, and they're pretty expensive to have thought and then not be able to actually doing different specials on Fridays with that. Top round especially. Aren't good.
Yeah.
How are the buffets going over? Made it up.
I mean, they've been doing all right. They're serving the purpose of taking some pressure off. What's really been selling best, along with buffets, been, according to the reports that I see, are tacos, stuff.
So we got a lot of change going on with what we're doing. How are we tracking financially? Where are we compared to budget?
$33,000 better than budget. Plus revenue, I was a little.
Well, you don't have the staff to serve it,
Yeah.
so I mean, but I mean, I think we're doing a good job keeping our costs down and payrolls down just because I hire anybody, but
Payroll was a good pizza for sure.
But now we also know what we with the relative staff expected. No, and I exaggerated payroll some because you just don't know what see next year this labor market. But we've managed to save
We haven't had any staff standing in the corner talking because they didn't have anything to do.
one
year.
time.
Yeah.
One time. That was it. So. Yeah.
And kudos to all them, anybody that's watching, make sure I'm in there. I try to give them kudos too, because they have stuck with us for the most part and done us a real good service.
Yep.
Not a good, nothing negative I've seen any place, which is a huge change.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaks echoes and echoes to staff.
Health inspection we got on Friday. It was a relatively quick one. 2 items, but it was even better than the last one we had that was announced. We do need to work on to manage a little soda area. It's not the quarry tile. Spend all this money. That's still fine. It's a cheap like the one.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And Rick's
I
fine
would.
with doing it.
I wouldn't put sheet. I don't think sheet vinyl would look.
It didn't apparently.
Sheet vinyl and that kind of wear there would.
Yeah, this is the stuff that's got like the adhesive back.
It's
So with
just
the VCT, that's actually tongue. separation, the gaps between,
Yeah,
and
'cause
then
that-
the fact
that's a
that
place for,
two or three of them that were broken.
That's in place for bacteria and stuff.
Yep. Planning on being closed. Look at hours, JJ, Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Eve, we've got the chapel service going on, so we will not be on Eve or Christmas Day. And then
I'll volunteer for I can do comedy, dance,
Done.
Stand up.
sing,
No.
stand up comedy.
We've seen you dance.
if you don't get any, if you don't get any amenity funds or anything, there you go.
Yeah.
Or
But
the dance might be comedy.
yeah, it would be nice
True.
to have a good New Year's Eve party upstairs. Hopefully we can staff, volunteers. It's a tough night to get staff. But
Yeah, I think we skipped over the general update.
Sure did.
oh,
Thank you.
oh, the helicopter.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry, I'm a
Steve,
little
I'll
distracted.
get a golf course update and helicopter tree
All right,
trimming update.
so as talked, it was last meeting, but at least the meeting before that, I know we talked about the crew, pin line that's been doing all the tree trimming of the lines, overhead lines down here. In order to expedite this process and get to some difficult terrain, they are going to bring a helicopter unit in, which is basically, I don't know, never measured one, but probably 30 foot of boom. Then it has an 8 series or a series of like 8 to 10 circular saw blades that all run in a straight line vertically. So
That's it.
this is
Just
a
go
real
onto-
monstrosity, but as they drive along, they take a lot of limbs out in half the time and technically a lot safer than the way they're doing it now, cutting things by hand and dragging stuff out. The main area they're going to be doing is around the golf course, so we're going to have to look at some closures there just for safety reasons. As of this afternoon, about 5:30, I don't know how they left all you guys off, but they sent it to me because I sent a comment, I guess, about where they could land the helicopter. They're going to move the helicopter in on Monday, November 1st, so that's real quick.
Yep.
And they will start the process of cutting on Tuesday, the 2nd.
An email blasted, just a general one out on that tomorrow.
Yeah, until they get here and see how they're going to suffice. I haven't run it by anybody, but during the week, it's usually not a problem, Jim, and I'll talk to Dwayne too.
I did. I got approval from him.
Okay, so he's talked to Dwayne about it. We're going to let them land this thing and lay the boom out because they got a nice road right there at the range right there next to it. So it's easy for them to get in and out of there. He thought maybe once or twice a day, whatever it takes for fuel, depending on how much they fly, and then it'll be sitting there at night. So
How long will it be here?
depends on their progress. They're hoping to get in and out in that week, but if it sits in monsoon rains or pours or something like that. Yeah, you can hang on the pole underneath.
And I confirmed they won't be working on weekends because that was Dwayne's own.
Right.
Was the 7th.
So we'll just have to make sure we got it in a place that's out of the way for that event, but we'll work with them. I told them I'd send them an email and then we can coordinate exactly where to be, put some cones up or something. Maybe ask security to do a couple extra patrols back there at night, just to make sure nobody's back in there monkeying with their equipment. So today, just as, he's talking about long-range planning and things that are going on and starting to look at some different issues. Kind of little, another committee, kind of like an unofficial subcommittee, I guess. Basically 4 members down here, along with Rick and Elmer, led by Eric Boysko, chair of the golf committee. Just looking at what we can do, what we need to do as far as improvements. The guys have done a great job on the course. In order to help aid them in maybe getting a procedural type place or being able to work smarter, maybe spending less man hours doing some of the same jobs they are now. We actually had a golf course consultant come in today. He spent 3.5 hours with us at no charge to the club. You're welcome. I don't know what I'll have to do for him in the future, but great discussions and just a lot of things about the course, seating of the greens, maintaining fairways, different ideas on mowing, doing a little less mowing, making it a little taller rough, and just look at the overall condition of the course. He was very pleased. He got 20 years mainly in, say, about 15 years in golf course construction, and he managed for, I think, 7 or 8 years, a very large course in the state of Texas. And if I could remember the names, I'm sure with you being down there, you would recognize the courses that he actually managed himself. So, Tim Lane.
So he's just looking today and giving you.
He come in today and gave a lot of free advice. I asked him to come back to us with a quote. I offered to have him send an invoice today, and he says, "Don't worry about it." I said, "We'll put something together and maybe quarterly come down or as needed," or Rick could call him, get another set of eyes on the course to look for disease, look for pest things like this. You know, our manpower is a big issue, and if Rick's doing that, or excuse me, if Elmer and his crew are looking around, they're not getting the mowing and the things that they need done. But he had some ideas on, doing some mowings at different times. Definitely something, and you might as well hear it now, the membership should, to do some of these things right. It may maintain a 1 day a week, half a day closure on a Tuesday morning or something, just for the safety of our workers and to allow them to get work done on the course. I try to do as much as we can for as little money as we can spend on this. A lot of it's procedural things that he had great ideas for Elmer. Very well received by our people too. Their time on the side while somebody plays through and not mowing is valuable time. Then members could go through, see them sitting in the shade and say, "Geez, they're not working very hard." Well, they're just trying to keep off the course while we're playing. Is what they're doing. So there's some big renovations coming to greens. I think anybody who plays a course realizes we have some work to do there. It's going to be a long-term fruitful thing right now.
I don't know about them longer runs. That affects Marty and I.
A lot.
Fairway.
Well, he's your assistant does. Yes, I think we need to really narrow up the fairways and then hire a golf pro just to teach people how to golf better. That's right. And you can sell all the hot dogs.
Anything else, Steve?
Nope, that's where it's at. Just
Appreciate
thanks. Good things coming, I hope.
It's better. Okay. Is there any other lodge updates or general updates?
So a reminder that November 1st, the back deck of the clubhouse goes to smoking area and the clubhouse shelter goes to smoking.
I think it's
So
Yeah, I think it's April 1st.
Chris tells me folks are chomping at the bit. So November 1st, we're getting there. It's close. You see a helicopter at the range today.
Today you can start lighting them up on the back deck.
Exactly. And then I was going to bring up changes to hours. Conversation outside of this group. So.
I just want to announce that there will be a management committee opening at the end of the year. So my term is up. We'll start advertising this week for members that were didn't submit in their application. We'll get the application together. There's a whole formal application process, and that out. We'll probably do interviews the second meeting in November. That way we can us formally decide that the first meeting in December, and then it goes to the board for approval. So that would be the timeline target. So we need to get that e-blast out and probably time to actually see it and submit their application. So
Fast on that.
it's the same. Yeah, it's the same e-blast, and somewhere Penny probably has the application
Yeah, the application was updated a year or two ago, so.
Same, same as the board, or is it different?
It's a different
Okay.
application. Yeah, I probably have some electronic top that we can get that submit in. It used to be kind of an ad hoc, hey, let's get Joe or let's get Steve there, and or push and say, hey, you really need to kind of make this true process that would kind of make it available to everybody and see who's interested and some interview, and it's really good. Chaz really kind of decide to join the committee. We're always looking for specific skills. Finance is good. What other skills will we look? Construction's always good. Food service is always a good, background to have. So, just somebody with an open mind and wanting to do best for the club.
Yep. And Marty, you'd asked about the financials for the lodge. The clubhouse is also trending each year's. Now, as of September, at $1,000 and some pennies.
Nice.
Won't last as things slow down, but that's far ahead of where we've been since 2012 or 2013 for that, and we'll heck of a lot better since 2013.
Good, thanks.
Okay. Any you guys, everything else you want to bring up for?
No.
I want one thing to bring up, talk to you about up here. It's nothing. We can stop recording.